Do. Your voice scared me. My bad. All right. So, some very interesting stuff today. Let's see here. There we are. All right. Whew. All right. So we got two videos today. See if I can find this other one. Yeah. So we got two videos. One is talking about Crimson Desert that's still just beating everything, and then something with Battlefield. So we shall check it out. But hello everybody, welcome in. Whew. Welcome in. Welcome in. Let's see here. All right. So without further ado, let's get to the first one. Mr. Legendary drops himself. See what he has to say.
Honestly, I'm getting to feel like it's become tradition at this point that at least once a year we get one of those games that for whatever reason the games industry just does not want to see win. These guys will pretend like they want games to succeed, but the second that game falls out of alignment with them, the daggers come out. And year over year, that's become increasingly more obvious when it comes to Eastern games. This year, so far, that game is Crimson Desert. This game has gotten a level of hate that went far beyond criticism, to the point that it didn't even make any sense. Yes, the game launched with some issues, but many of those issues have already been fixed. And even still, when the game launched, the way they talked about this game just really didn't match up with reality. And now, this has gotten so excessive that now you have Korean media that's stepping forward saying that they feel like this is blatant and targeted disrespect. You guys are going to want to hear this because they got a lot to say, and none of it's good. You had writers and developers that were painting this game like it was some disaster, some absolute catastrophe, a ripoff, some game that's just a bunch of different parts from a bunch of other games, and they just threw it all together, something these guys should probably just be embarrassed of more.
So basically, they're thinking like the game the day after
than anything else. And the more that I looked at this game, the more that I looked at how players are playing it, the more I looked at how people were finding things that they love about it, the more it felt like everybody was just talking about a completely different game. And some people believe that's on purpose. So today, I want to set the record straight. I want to talk about why this game has continued to find success. I want to talk about why there is all of this hostility towards this game, and also why it seems like everybody is terrified of the East. Who would have known? Giving the players what they want just paints a target on your back. Before that, don't worry, not a long ad, just giving a shout out to Starforge Systems if you guys are looking for a new PC and trying to find something at a reasonable price. Also, some of the best builds you can find on the market. Check out Starforge PC down in the link below. Thank you guys for sponsoring today's video. Man, Crimson Desert has been on an absolute tear. This game has been ripping updates at a ridiculous pace since launch, fixing most of, if not all of the major complaints that players have had, while also layering in more improvements and content and whatever else they can fit in. It's climbed up to an 8.8 user score on Metacritic. It hit very positive on Steam. It broke its own concurrent player record in week 2,
Wow.
which almost never happens unless a game is absolutely catching fire like this one is, because now it's already sold over 4 million copies in just 12 days. Players have been celebrating, but the industry has been doing everything they can to act like none of this means anything at all. Now, just before making this video, I ended up watching SkillUp's review of Crimson Desert, and in it, he said that he thinks this is the closest thing that we've had to Skyrim since Skyrim. And not only do I think that that is completely true, but also I think it's the biggest reason this game has become so divisive amongst basically everybody at this point. Skyrim is the 7th best-selling game of all time. It has sold over 60 million copies across all editions. For some players, that game was their childhood. People still play it to this day. It has a massive modding community. I've personally probably played the game at least 5 or more times all the way through. And, well, for a game to be that successful, that relevant, that beloved, you would think that it has to be one of the best games ever made. Well, that kind of depends on what you mean by best. Because Skyrim's success was never really about writing. It wasn't its combat or its systems or honestly even its characters. It was just about the world and what players were allowed to do inside it. Skyrim launched
Yeah, it's basically, it's just pure imagination. That's it. So like when people were talking about the story and things like that, when they were complaining with Crimson Desert, they're like, oh, there's no story. It's, there's just a whole bunch of side quests and stuff like that. When the developer had to come out and say, "Oh no, it's not that it's not that there's no story, it's that it's a sandbox RPG," meaning you use your imagination to create the story. That's what it is.
As hell. It was unbalanced, full of bugs, constantly crashing, and at a lot of times it was just borderline unplayable because your saves could break or quest progression could literally just brick mid playthrough. The main story was mediocre at best, and even if there were some side quests like the Dark Brotherhood and a couple of other ones, there were some really good moments on that, but outside of that, on average, the game was generic and broken as all hell. What made that game special was a sense of adventure and authorship. It dropped players into a sandbox where it felt like anything could happen. You could just point yourself in a direction, start walking, and then somehow end up with a story that felt like your own. And every single session felt like it had that possibility to turn into something that was just completely unexpected, and more times than not, that's exactly what it did. I spent hours inside of Oblivion and then later Skyrim because of that. I'd pick up a quest in a town, I would notice something strange off in the distance, I'd start walking, I'd find a dungeon, I'd fight a dragon, I'd get attacked by an assassin, bit by a vampire, or I'd stumble into a completely different quest line that I had no intention of starting. Some of that was authored by the game, some of that was authored by me, but together that would just create this constant feeling of freedom and chaos and discovery that made that game almost impossible to put down, no matter how broken it was or how mediocre some of the parts of the game was. And what I just described is basically Crimson Desert. I play these games almost the exact same way. I log into Crimson Desert with one goal in mind, and almost every single time it ends up spiraling into something that is just completely different. Yesterday, I logged in just to farm some materials and upgrade my gear. That then turned into me stumbling across some world puzzles, then finding a witch that wanted me to go and kill some cultists. Then I ran into a bounty while I was shopping for supplies, and then randomly, I come across this massive white reindeer while I was hunting, only to find out that killing it lets me summon it as a legendary mount. This game is absolutely insane, and this game's closest cousin is one of the most popular and successful games known to man.
Yep. It's basically what he just described is the true meaning of immersion, where you are, again, you go in to do like one task, you're just like, hey, I'm just logging in because I want to do one task. But how the gameplay is so good, the amount of content that is so good as well, that you can easily sink into this game knowing that you said, hey, I'm only going to be in here because I need to find some items, but then you go down this whole chain of events that later on you realize that you spent, what was supposed to be like probably 30-45 minutes, maybe an hour, you spent 5 hours in the game and not realizing it. That's how great, that's how games are really good, is when you can do that.
Like Skyrim, Crimson Desert
Easy.
launched with issues, some weak writing, some parts of the game are definitely rough, but what it offers is incredible. The problem is, almost none of this is reflected in how this industry has chose to talk about it.
Basically, if you don't have, for them, they're gonna say, they're probably gonna complain about story. They're gonna say that and everything. It's not linear or anything of that nature. This is all these. This is straight up what I'm guessing. Non-linear, no story, which basically they don't have an imagination. That's it. They don't have an imagination, so they're like, I don't know what to do next. I'm bored, or I don't like this because, like, they don't tell me what I do next. Instead of you figuring it out, or having an imagination to go do something else, like, I don't know, you house in like 50 cats and then you end up getting something for that, things like that.
Crimson Desert would be my definition of a mediocre video game. I think it very clearly chases inspirations from everything you'd already know from everything we've talked about.
Basically, whatever other game is doing for like the past over 20 years. Every game has been inspired by something else. Even the very first games that came out, they were inspired by not other games, but from movies, from sports that were put into a form of a video game. So that doesn't hold any weight.
It pales in comparison to all of those games.
Everywhere I look, notable voices in games media, even in game development, were dragging this game's name through the mud. It made players wary, it shaped public opinion, at least initially, and it even sent Pearl Abyss's stock into freefall.
Also, and that's dumb. Also, the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's a reviewer from media, if it's a YouTuber, a streamer, whatever. We have our opinions. That's it. We have our opinions. Now the mainstream media, what they will try to do is they'll try to convince you to either buy a game or not buy a game, right? But for streamers and YouTubers, content creators alike, what do? Is we do reviews, but we just give you our opinion. That's it. We give our personal opinion. Like, hey, I didn't like the game because of X, Y, and Z, or I did like this game because of X, Y, and Z. But you as the viewer, you still have to do the research yourself. You also have to form an opinion. All we can do is provide you the game, like provide you gameplay of the game, so you can form your own opinion if you like the game or not, to either go buy the game or not. That's it. We're not convincing you to do it or anything like that. It is up to you. We're just pretty much providing it to you. And this goes way back too. This is like beginning YouTube when gaming content came out with, DSP, with Markiplier, with Jacksepticeye and PewDiePie. Like, I watched them because, first of all, A, I didn't have a computer, and then B, there are games that came out that I didn't have the money for. So I would watch them and be like, oh, this looks like a cool, like, oh, it's like, okay, this looks like a cool game, or hey, this game isn't for me. And then that's when I'd make my own decision of, okay, I'm gonna go buy this game, and that's what happened. So it's just that. Everything nowadays is just copying each other. Yeah, and that's the issue. They copy like business plans and everything, like one for one, of another game, and they say, oh, it's a different game. No, just the name of the game is different. That's it. Only the name of the game is different, but the contents of the game is the same as another game. And that's why I always ask when I QA test or when people ask for feedback, the first question I ask them, if you were to remove the name from both of these games and take away like small things, like would if you're able to take the names away from both games, so let's just say Call of Duty, and we'll say Battlefield 6. Warzone and Red Sec. If you were to take those names away, take away Battlefield's destruction, could you tell the difference between the two, between RedSec and like is there enough significance to is there enough significance, I'm sorry, to tell the difference between RedSec and Warzone if those were taken away? I've asked people this at EA, and I said, if that is hard to answer, then people are going to look at this game and they're going to look at RedSec and be like, hey, this is just like Warzone, pretty much. When they asked feedback for RedSec, what I told them? They should not do loadouts. Do not do weapon loadouts. Just be complete RNG. Complete RNG. If you want to get like a fully kitted weapon, like a really good fully kitted weapon, have POIs that are heavily contested to get those. Do missions to unlock those. That gives people that gives you guys the data to incentivize people to play games, or not to play games, but to do the missions to get those weapons, or they have to take out somebody that already has the weapon and then they get the weapon that way. It's just it's that simple. That's it. To me, the only things that don't copy are old Xbox, PlayStation games. It is to a certain extent. There are some. Halo. I think Halo came from Marathon, and I'm not talking about this Marathon. I'm talking about the original Marathon, because original Marathon was a Apple product game, and Halo was the same thing. And Halo actually came from was originally an Apple game until Microsoft purchased Bungie, and then they made that for the Xbox.
What made this all the more frustrating was how obvious this pattern was. Every single one of them were either ignorant to what the world actually offered, they hyper-fixated on the weak narrative, they painted the entire thing as broken and beyond repair, or when they were finally forced to acknowledge this game's success, they would do it in the most backhanded way possible.
Oh, yeah.
Games Radar with Crimson Desert is the best-selling new game on Steam after 2 weeks. Its user reviews have jumped up 85% positive as more players have gotten past the week opening. Kotaku went with Crimson Desert has pretty rocks, but after 12 hours of playing it, I don't want to go on.
They try to go, see, again, it's, ooh, the visuals, ooh, the graphics, ooh. Okay. It looks nice. And it does. It looks nice. But did you play the game? No. You didn't play the game. A lot of people liked, especially in the media, like to go for, oh, this visually looks good, but does the game play well? And that's why we get this. That's why we had this whole issue, and it's still happening now. We have this whole issue where games come out, they look good, visually they're good, but fundamentally, functionality wise, they're not good. They're broken, incomplete. Things are like that are necessary aren't in the game. Things that aren't necessary are in the game. That's how it is.
Jason Schreier called it so boring and soulless that I absolutely did not want to play anymore. Feels like a game designed for people that want to consume content. IGN has probably been the biggest offender here. These guys have definitely had it out for these developers, it feels like, because they've spent the entire launch cycle just trying to farm both sides. They keep pushing these contradictory write-ups, like one article saying Crimson Desert has an incredibly designed world that is a joy to explore, but they wish that there was more to find in its beautiful locations, when another one is asking, in trying to do so much, does Crimson Desert risk achieve doing nothing? So which is it? Is it not doing enough, or is it doing too much?
See, and then the crazy thing is, they get mad because they're like, why people don't read our articles and stuff, and then why on Metacritic they can band together and give a game a low score, a very like a good game a low score, but then give a shitty game, then they know it's a shitty game, a higher score. Doesn't make sense. And then people don't care about the Metacritic scores. They don't care about the critic scores. They care about the user scores because it's people that actually play the game, or people go to Steam reviews and they look at the forums and they're like, oh, okay, so this is what's going on with the game. People like that. People research that. People look forward to that instead. Again, the mainstream media, they don't have the power anymore. And they're afraid to say something because if they are to go against what everybody else is doing, then what's going to happen is it's going to burn bridges between them and the studios, and they don't get those review copies or those early access anymore.
Then once the game started selling and the updates
Everybody knows it's fake. Everybody knows it is fake, and they can see right through it. It's easy.
started landing fast, once player sentiment started to really improve quite a lot, the narrative started to shift again. Suddenly it became, can Crimson Desert patch its way to a Cyberpunk 2077 style victory,
like
which is absurd to me because
it's just envy. And the thing is, it's like nowadays, especially when it comes to like games or entertainment or anything like that, if you do not like it and everybody else likes it, then that's fine. You could just say, hey, you don't like it. But trying to virtue signal, saying like it is like the worst thing ever known to man, like that is put on earth for entertainment, and then trying to convince people that is bad, yeah, that doesn't work. They already tried, like the critics, they already did this before with Black Myth Wukong. They tried to stir up some issues with Black Myth Wukong from the developers. Developers didn't even say anything. They didn't even make a response to what one of the medias were trying to accuse them of. They just put the game out. They said, we're just gonna let our game do the talking. They got their early access, whatever. They were talking their crap about it, and then everybody else played, and they said, "Dude, this is a really good game. Visually, it looks good. Functionality looks good. The fact that you're learning about Chinese culture and heritage in that game is even more amazing." And they're mad because this stupid woke games that's out, or that they keep that the industry keeps putting out and everything like that from the western side of the industry are putting out, people don't want it. People are not buying it. Why? Because these studios don't have a target audience. They took the names of like, Ubisoft and everything like that. Okay, they think they can do whatever they want because they have that name, so they think they have that power. But the thing is, if you put out a shitty game, I'm just gonna be honest, if you put out a shitty game, yeah, you're gonna get shitty results. Look at Assassin's Creed. People are like, dude, what the hell is this? This ain't like Assassin's Creed Unity. This is not like Black Flag. This is not like the original. This is not like Assassin's Creed 2. Just because you have an existing colossal brand of a name or a franchise, that doesn't mean that game is going to be good.
Cyberpunk 2077 was a genuine launch disaster. That game was broken, misleading.
Along with Battlefield 2042. I remember this.
The market. Basically, it was just false advertising, and it took years for these guys to be able to claw their way back. Crimson Desert is not that story. But even then, IGN followed it up with Pearl Abyss has already made significant and meaningful changes to Crimson Desert following a rocky launch, but patches can't fix the game's biggest problem. And what is that fatal flaw? It's the story. That's it. Which immediately, when I realized that, it made me feel like something was off. So I went on a bit of an investigation, and I checked out a lot of the Metacritic reviews. And where the game is still now sitting at about a 77, it actually came down a little bit as more reviews came in. But the same pattern keeps showing up. The game is good, but the story. The world is impressive, but the narrative. The systems are fun, but the writing. Again and again. These outlets treated the one part of the game that I would argue probably matters the least in this kind of experience as the only thing that should define this entire product.
Also, another thing that I've been seeing on Twitter, I remember when it's probably like it's still lingering around, but I remember like it was a few weeks ago with Crimson Desert. A lot of people were comparing Crimson Desert to Red Dead Redemption 2. They were like, "Oh, look, when you're fishing in here, this is what it's like in Red Dead Redemption 2. Look at the graphics of Red Dead Redemption 2." Don't get me wrong, Red Dead Redemption 2, the graphics are good. But the thing is, Crimson Desert is not trying to be like Red Dead Redemption 2. It's nowhere like that. Yeah, it is open world. Yeah, you can do multiple activities, but that doesn't mean it's a Rockstar game. And that's what people just do not get.
It also doesn't help that IGN under Ziff Davis makes up about 12 of the 100 reviews for the game, essentially.
And also when they come out with a mod for multiplayer, the online multiplayer for Crimson Desert, I bet you people are gonna bitch and complain about it and be like, see, look, they're doing just like Red Dead Redemption 2. First they had the campaign, and now they have, then Red Dead Redemption had their Red Dead Online. Now they have a Crimson Desert Online. Look what they're doing. They're copying it. They're gonna do that.
An echo chamber with more votes than anybody else. But, now I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend that the story doesn't matter or that story in games doesn't matter. Of course it matters. But in a game like this, story is more like a vehicle. It's just there to push you through the world.
Yeah.
It is not the main reason that people are here, and it's definitely not the only thing that's going to carry the experience. So for the narrative to have this kind of outsized impact on how this game was received, I can't help but feel like that this is more than just weak writing.
It's not thrown like the story is not thrown in your face. It's just like you do whatever you want in this game, and however you want to do it, right? If you want to progress a little more in the game, they're like, well, here's your option. You can go through the story if you want to. If not, then just go do whatever you want still. It's totally fine. You don't have to go through the story. Now, if you want to beat the game, yeah, of course. But you don't have to go through, you don't primarily have to go through the story to have any sort of progression in the game. No.
Especially when it's coming from a lot of the same outlets that scored Dragon Age the Veilguard like it was the second coming and have been bending over backwards to try to save a game like Marathon. One is live service, and the other has writing that sounds like this.
Whatever the reason, we made it through. And this time, no dragon escaped.
Thanks to Tosh.
That's why we recruited her.
Actually, Tosh uses them for themselves now.
Now, I'm also going to
Again, when it comes to the whole DEI thing, a lot of people do not care about DEI. They don't. But when it is forced upon people, that's when it's an issue. That's primarily an example. That's the primary example. That's why people dunk on Dragon Age the Veilguard, because they kept throwing that in your face. And then they have the irony. Of, if you misgender Tosh, it's wrong. But Tosh talks about another person and misidentifies them, and they're like, no, don't call him that. They say, no, you don't call him that. But Tosh just says, I don't understand why I can't just call them that. They don't look like that. So why can't I just call them whatever? It's the irony. I'll show you the clip after this. It is very interesting. It's so funny. It's like the game calls itself out. It's so funny.
Say that at some point this criticism just stopped being criticism and it started becoming narrative building. I felt this myself after hearing a lot of people talk long enough about the game. You start going in expecting the worst. That's just how the internet works. You hear mess enough times, you're going to go in expecting a mess. You're going to be ready to see a bad game, and eventually you're going to start seeing problems even if they're there or not. And that framing started to spread so hard, so fast that even game developers started parroting it. The head of publishing at Larian Studios chimed in to say that while the game is fun to play, it is a cynical amalgamation of borrowed mechanics, calling it gaming plucked off of a gas station shelf for better or worse, even going as far to say that it needs a Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen moment somewhere down the line. Then we have David Jaffe, who chimed in with his own 2 cents, the creator of God of War, who was spiraling over how goblins look in the game, saying that this is some anti-Semitic shit, or at least it feels as such. The nose.
He tries to go political.
The job, the mission name, and gold leaf, may as well just call it Goldberg. Now, both of these feel a lot less like criticism and a lot more like the result of dogpiling. people are just absorbing the negativity around the game, a lot of it coming from the press, and they're just projecting that back onto the game. Jeff,
here's the thing. This is what I ask. This is what I always ask people. Did you play the game? Did you play the game? Did you play the game? Did you tune in somebody's live stream that played it for a few hours and did you look at it that way? Or are you just reading off of what you have seen on the internet? That is something that people don't understand. Again, if you like the game, more power to you. Or whatever, if you like whatever game, more power to you. Hey. But there's some people that don't. Me, I didn't like me personally, not a fan of Marathon. Why I'm not a big fan of Marathon? I just didn't like it. Honestly, I did not like how the game played. I did the Server Slam. I played the Server Slam off stream, and it's just the extraction shooter for that game. It's just not for me. That's it. It's just not for me. And I think it's just because in general, I'm just done with extraction shooters. That's why I'm not like a huge, that's like when people want me to play Arc Raiders, I'm like, I don't see myself playing it for a long time. Same with Marathon. I don't see myself playing it for a long time. I don't see myself, being excited to getting up the next day and be like, ooh, I want to get on and play some Marathon. It's just how I am. And that's how I go by of purchasing games and things like that. Do I feel like I am fully invested in this game? Is it a game I'm like, ooh, I really want to play it? Just like War Dogs. Like War Dogs, that game has me hooked right now. Like I haven't even played the game and I'm like, okay, this really has my interest because there's so much that you can do. And it's a shooter. It's a first person shooter too. That's just me personally, because I like first person shooters and I like that this feels like something that there's a lot that you can do that I feel like no other game has done.
Honestly, I think that guy is just losing it.
Gold
Leaf is the name of the trade company, not the character. The character's name is Shaka too, but the Crimson Desert being cynical thing, this game is not cynical. If it was, it would be a mile wide and an inch deep. It would have been stuffed with a bunch of shallow mechanics, constant shortcuts, and systems that are designed to waste your time unless you pay to skip them. Something like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Shadows. This game is messy, it's dense, it's overambitious, it is packed with a bunch of systems that clearly...
Mind you, this is the same mainstream media, again, that we're trying to complain to the game industry that they should have an easy mode for every single game that's like Elden Ring and stuff, where you can skip the boss fights. Yeah. This is the same mainstream media that is complaining about that. Complaining that games don't have a skip. At that point, what's the point of playing the game?
They have a lot of real effort behind them.
You might as well watch a
sometimes,
streamer.
honestly, to the game's own fault. So when I hear somebody calling it cynical, I'm not hearing somebody talk about some deep truth about this game's design. I'm hearing what happens when a game is getting framed negatively enough, long enough, that people are just going in primed to see the worst version of it. And to me, well, that's where this entire thing starts to get a lot more revealing. Now, this isn't going to be true for every single writer, but I want you guys to take notice of something. If you've noticed over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about how player sentiment has changed, how the game has improved, how the sales have been going up, but these guys never talk about how their opinions have changed, how permanent their review scores are.
Yeah.
Funny how that works in this situation.
They stand
the
out.
Cyberpunk 2077 comparison
They still
is what
stand there.
finally sent me. That made me take a step back and go, okay, what's going on here? Because there's clearly something is wrong. That game was a disaster at launch. This game is a game with a weak story that had some clunky controls and some menu problems, stuff that has largely already been fixed. These things are not comparative at all. We're talking about a game. Cyberpunk 2077 was effectively a bait and switch on console.
Yes.
It was taken off of store shelves. It was taken off the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
Something that almost never happens. The only redemption story this game needs is being redeemed from these game developers more than anything else. Initially when I first started looking at this, and you guys can even go back and look at my first video, I thought that these guys were just fixated on the game's narrative. And I think that that's probably true for some of the reviewers. You can go back and look at some of their reviews and you can see that. But the continued beatdown and the backhanded commentary is starting to lead me to believe that this is more targeted and a hell of a lot more inauthentic. It's giving me flashbacks of Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade where, well, these guys, it's an industry that's afraid of people that just do not want to play ball. They're afraid of losing their relevance. And
it's because it's a game that you can tell who's actually passionate of what they make, and it's not by a checklist, by a suit. Yeah, and you guys know me, corporate and suits and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't like. But yeah, they're not going by they're not playing ball with the suits, because they are not funded by suits. You know, they're not receiving money from shareholders and the suits and everything like that, like a lot of these studios are. So that means they have to make a game under the confines of what the shareholders want or what the investors want. Where Pearl Abyss and, you know, the people that make Stellar Blade and everything, they can do whatever they want. And because they can do whatever they want and they made a game that does way better than them, it's just straight up envy. They're envious that their game is better, knowing that probably some people in the AAA on the Western, some of the developers I wish we can make our game better, but no, there's people higher than us that don't want the game to be better. And that's why you see developers leave as well. It's just how it is. Rock and Roll, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. But yeah, that's what's going on.
And these guys have gotten so obvious about it. They've been doing it so often and so blatantly that it's not just me feeling it anymore. No, you now have Korean media that's coming out saying they are sick of these people, these Western media folks, trying to gatekeep them from competition. Now, as many of you guys might know, given the long library of videos that I have on this topic, I have been a massive advocate for Eastern games for as long as I can remember. And anytime I see these games getting mistreated or misrepresented, I'm going to say my piece, because the surge of Eastern games that we've seen over the past couple of years has honestly been one of the most valuable shifts in the entire industry, especially now that more of these studios are stepping into AA and AAA spaces where that competition is desperately needed right now.
Let's put it this way. The people that made PUBG, when PUBG first came out, right? PUBG was a mod from, first of all, PUBG was a mod from Arma 3. Either from Arma 2 or Arma 3. H1Z1 was a mod as well. And I think DayZ was a mod. Remember, these games were mods. And then they became its own thing. They became standalone games later on. A lot of people don't know that before Crafton, it was another studio. I think it's not Blue Point, it's something else. The only reason why I want to say Blue Point, because somebody used to call it Blue Balls Studios, but it wasn't Blue Ball Studios, it was something else. But anyway, the studio before them, actually, hold on, let me look it up. Let me look it up before I say anything else. What studio made PUBG? It wasn't Crafton. It was something else. What was the name before Crafton? Let's see. What was the studio name before Crafton? Blue Hole. That's what it was. Blue Hole Studios. And guess what? It's a South Korean game company. Blue Hole became famous for creating Terra in PUBG. Yes. And then later on, they became Crafton, establishing Crafton as a parent holding company for multiple subsidiaries. So, again, PUBG is a South Korean game. And how well is PUBG doing? Very well. Obviously, because they have let's see. We also have what do you call it? Consoles too. I need to go back and play PUBG too. But yeah, look at that. Store data, number 1 in top sellers. Number 2 in daily active users. 304,978 right now. And then all-time peak is 3.2 million. That's good. That's really good. 24-hour peak, almost a million. Like, that is insane. And remember, this is a what do you call it? This game has been out for what, how long? Over 6 years? This game came out in what? 2017. Yeah, that should tell you something. So this game is 9 years old. Yeah, 9 years old. Oh, look at that. Insane. Remember, this is just only PC. It's not we're not talking about Xbox, we're not talking about PlayStation numbers. So that 304 plus the console numbers is ridiculous. So
we have seen multiple Eastern studios, many of these guys coming from gacha and live service backgrounds, switching gears to make these self-contained.
I think when I do like the when they bring like the online component, the online DLC, I'll probably get the game and play it. I just know it's a lot of time. And then on top of that, I still got to play Resident Evil, and I still have to play Elden Ring because I owe everybody an Elden Ring stream.
Full-priced games with little to no baggage at all, and it's just not something that you would normally expect. Just a few years ago, we had Psy Games, a studio historically known for gacha that put out Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. We had Shift Up, the makers of Nikkei, which is basically the exact same thing. They made Stellar Blade. That's two studios with roots in some of the most cynical corners of the industry that ended up making great games and supported those things aggressively with free content, updates, and events, and sold those games at a fair price. And now we are seeing the exact same thing happen with Pearl Abyss, the makers of Black Desert, pouring everything they have into Crimson Desert, taking risks, and supporting the game like it's an MMO. I think for a lot of players that a lot of these games have come to represent a true return to form for the games industry. See how I'm stealing their language now? I really have become the games journalist. This is what real competition looks like. These studios do not have the time or the room to be able to scroll around, so they just pay attention to what players actually want, and they just try to make the best game they can to get their attention. And in practice, that means ignoring a lot of what has become standard in the Western games industry. It means just ignoring trends and just trying to make a game. It means obsessing over the gameplay instead of the messaging. It means narrowing your audience instead of trying to flatten everything out so you can make a game for everyone. And more than anything, it means openly targeting men as your core demographic. And in doing that, these guys have painted a target on their back, a target that the East can very clearly see, and they've started to notice. In an article from Global E, a South Korean publication translated by Google, titled "The Paradox of Crimson Desert: What Would Have Been If It Were American," Kim Dong-hyun writes, "What if the start screen of Crimson Desert had featured the logo of Naughty Dog or Ubisoft instead of Pearl Abyss? North American media likely would pay tribute, calling it a revolutionary evolution that changed the paradigm of open-world action-adventure games. However, the evaluation of this Korean AAA blockbuster, which sold 4 million copies in just 12 days, remains harsh." Even the developers have joined in on the criticism, labeling it a patchwork game, but this is not merely the venom of an individual, it is the expression of a collective rejection towards an outsider who threatens the hierarchy of the console market, which has been monopolized by the West. Double standards are nothing new. When NeoWiz's Lies of P was released, foreign media mentioned From Software's Bloodborne and labeled it a copycat. Those who praised Western developers for genre succession when releasing Souls-like games applied a particularly strict standard of lack of originality to Korean games. Shift Up also had issues with character appearances rather than the gameplay, attempting to judge the work using Western-centric...
Yeah, I noticed that when it came to... I think it was when From Software really had like the parry system and the parry and the combat system in their games. I noticed like after, especially Elden Ring release, every single game started doing that. Starting to incorporate like their combat system with the parry and things like that. I've noticed that. And I'm just like, some of the games they work, some of them it just doesn't seem right.
political correctness standards. The contradictions of the Western world become clearer when the perspective shifts to domestic games. Unlike Mint Rocket's Dave the Diver, which was embroiled in controversy regarding its indie status due to the investment capital from large corporations, they defended the success of Claire Expedition 33, which had similar conditions. It's as if those who remain silent about the numerous games disguised as indies supported by major Western publishers are drawing a line by specifically bringing up the definition of indie in the face of global successes of Korean games. Even Marathon, which faced a barrage of harsh criticism from users, famous Western media outlets gave it high marks, calling it a game that overcame strange prejudices. The game's Metacritic user rating is
It's not strange prejudice. You had somebody that submitted that you had a failed submission, or you had a failed art submission pipeline. I don't want to say not failed. You had a compromised. You had a compromised art submission pipeline that resulted in an artist's work being plastered all over the game without their permission or without even their knowledge, and they called it out. And then the internet caught wind of this, and they blew it up and made it viral. So now that person is an art consultant for the game. Glad that got resolved. But the fact that this happened, and again, I've said this multiple times in previous videos and streams, that when you are resourcing, when you're sourcing out artwork, getting references and things like that, you have to double, quadruple check where the source comes from. Most likely people get this stuff from Pinterest. They get it from Pinterest, be like, all right, this is a reference from it. But they don't do like, they get the idea and everything, but they don't design it themselves. They just take the image and say, and then put it on a data on a sheet, not on a data sheet, on a on a sample sheet. They put it on there, and then they're like, all right, this is what we have. Again, it was a compromised pipeline.
A 5.8 out of 10. It seems like the contradictory attitude of dismissing Korean games as commercialism when they secure excellent graphics and disparage them as unfriendly anomalies when they show originality does not apply to domestic games. Ultimately, the mockery directed at Crimson Desert is another name for cultural fear of a small Eastern country that has perfectly absorbed their own grammar and is now showing a performance beyond it. This dude is so good. Market indicators do not lie. The choice of 4 million players is far more honest than the narrow-minded pens of critics. The Korean games industry is now past the stage of clinging to Western recognition and stands the proof of time where it must overwhelm even their prejudices with its own merit.
Yep.
We got Google over here translating Shakespeare for us. I think this guy is completely right. And it's not because I think that every single Western reviewer is sitting in some back room somewhere trying to plot against Eastern games, but there is clearly a standard that is changing depending on who made the game and who that game is made for.
Yep.
If all we did was just change the name of the studio to Bethesda and threw in some HR-approved characters with a few cutscenes on identity politics, well, then this game would have been Game of the Year for these people right
It'd be Game of the Year, but then in the public eye, it'd be shit.
Out of the gate. This is the part that I think a lot of people are trying to dance around. Western games media has a very obvious bias. They want certain design values, certain aesthetics, certain kinds of writing. They want certain kinds of politics and certain kinds of audiences. And when a game
Again, they're kept in that bubble from the suits.
shows up that's outside of that framework, especially if it's from the East,
Having
they
creative
suddenly
freedom.
get a lot less generous.
Yep.
I want to remind people that these are the same guys that gave Starfield 80 or higher, called Dragon Age the Veilguard a return to form, and thought Avowed was headed in the right direction. While I know that there's been a lot of criticism around this game's story, this was definitely a game that was just made for dudes. There are very few female characters in this game. It has cursing like every 5 seconds. The entire game is essentially just a show of masculinity. And while that doesn't necessarily mean that this game can
Careful, that might trigger a lot of people.
only be played by men, it's obvious who their target audience was, and the games industry historically has taken a lot of issue with that. I think this is why this keeps happening. I mean, we get a Western game that borrows from 10 other games, and they're going to call that a love letter. We get a Korean game that does the exact same thing, and suddenly it's a cynical copy. We saw the exact same thing happen with Stellar Blade and Black Myth Wukong. Stellar Blade because of how attractive Eve and other characters were, but they blanketed.
It was so funny when they said that about Eve and Stellar Blade. They said people were mad because they said the woman doesn't look like her body proportions are not realistic. I was like, the guy designed the character from either his wife or his girlfriend, something like that. And they look very normal to me. The body proportions look very normal to me. Nothing's over dramatic. It's just it's a insecurity that they have.
That criticism in how the game was trying to be near Automata but couldn't come close. While they did not destroy the game entirely in its reviews, they made up for it with the rhetoric around it. Same thing they did with Black Myth Wukong. They called it a Souls-like ripping off of Elden Ring before the game even came out, absolutely annihilating the game past its release with criticisms over lack of women, diversity, and an entirely fabricated story about the...
Which is so funny when they said that the lack of women, but the thing is, if you play later in the game, there's a lot of them.
Studio suffering from sexism, they will go and they'll hide behind the review score saying, look, we didn't give it a bad review, but that number matters a lot less when the framing that they're trying to push is so blatant around a lot of these games. And I think that's what makes this also frustrating, because once you start noticing the pattern, you cannot unsee it. You start noticing how often these critics are not actually evaluating the experience that is right in front of them, the game that's right in front of them, but instead what that game represents to them culturally, whether it's fitting their taste, whether it's fitting their politics. And if it doesn't, well, then they become way harsher, way more suspicious, and they're way more willing to dismiss the audience that clearly sees value in it. Honestly, I think all this just boils down to how threatened Western games media and even game developers are of the East. These guys look to unravel the groundwork that they've been laying down for years now. All the messaging that they've been doing for years, they are seeing themselves constantly losing ground, watching as these new and emerging studios are coming out and they're putting together high quality games for far less money, not leaning on monetization, releasing these games that are self-contained experiences at a fair price, focusing on men as the primary audience, and largely, when they can, ignoring Western media and cutting them out entirely.
Yeah, because they have, again, like look at PUBG and look at PUBG with their esports. Literally, they have all of Asia that is, and they have some in Europe, but they have all of Asia that's backing them. Like, look, you can look at all the esports teams for PUBG. Most of them are in Asia. You have Korean teams, you have Vietnamese teams, you have Thailand teams, you have teams from India, like everywhere. And it's awesome. It's awesome to see. So this whole like AAA game industry where it's like, oh, you need the Western media. No, you don't. You don't need, like, they're at the point where they don't need the Western media. They don't need the Western. They don't do that. They do not need Western consumers. They don't need Western media. They don't need Western anything, because they know that the East will back them up. They'll play the game. If the game looks appealing, it looks fun, it's very creative, and then also the passion's put in there, you know, based off of people's merits of working on this game and knowing that the quality is really good, people are going to play it. They're going to have over hundreds of thousands, probably millions of copies already sold. And that's just over, again, in the East. And then when it comes over to the West, you know, for me, I don't want the game to be changed at all. I don't want it tampered with or anything like that. Okay, the only thing I will say is, you know, localize the audio or the UI at least, so I can at least know where to navigate, because I still have a Phantasy Star Online game for PS Vita that I can't play because it's all in Japanese.
I think back to when IGN had the allegations against Black Myth Wukong, and I can't help but think that Western outlets were threatened by how irrelevant they are, when the studio's developers simply said that they had no comment on the allegations that they made up and ignored them.
Yep.
I think that's why that line from the writer about fear really hits hard for me, because I do think that there is some kind of cultural fear here. Not fear in like a melodramatic sense, but fear in losing control over taste, legitimacy, the critical authority that these guys have enjoyed for probably far too long, fear of succeeding without their approval, fear of players rallying around something that they flat out do not respect. And when these Eastern developers keep showing up with games that players clearly love, despite the baggage, the mockery, and the double standards, all of this stuff becomes a lot harder to ignore.
Eastern games are basically becoming what Western games used to be, what we loved. Games from like Xbox 360 era and before, like that's what Eastern games are becoming. Eastern games are focused on their target audiences, while Western games, they have no idea what's going on because they're too busy trying to chase money. They're too busy trying to chase the greed. Thinking that whatever they put out, people will buy, instead of being like, hey, we should take a look back. We should take a step back and really look at this game, and ask ourselves, is this something that we are really wanting to put out? I bet you a lot of these AAA industry games or these studios, if they did not have, investors, and they just had their own creative freedom, if they cut down not spending hundreds of millions of dollars and probably spend like only like tens of millions of dollars, if they were break away from their investors and everything like that, I bet you that the games would be a lot better. I bet you they'd be a lot better than what they are now, because they break away from that creative freedom, or they break away from that binding imprisonment that they cannot become creative. They cannot become creative. They will have some sort of creative freedom. Now, also, you would have to cut probably the middleman that's probably with the investors saying like, hey, this is what we have to do and things like that. Like, again, this is why a lot of developers leave and they go into the AA or in the indie section and they make their own games. And that's why indie games are doing so well and they're thriving. That's why they're in the Game Awards and they're being announced at these huge events, because again, people have more faith in indie games because it's based off of merit and off of the passion of these indie developers who are also gamers as well. They're making games that they wish that was out. Again, like me, I want to beat them. Like I want to have another beat 'em up game like Fighting Force. So what should I do? I should make a game that is like that. Because why? It's a game I'll be able to play. I'll have fun with it. But the thing is, other people, will they be able, other people may get into it and play. And then guess what? Sales go on, downloads happen, sales happen. And then boom, you can be making a good amount of money, make a good living too.
Again, I want to reiterate, this is not every writer or every publication, but it does feel like there is this strong exclusion of these Eastern titles that keep coming out that are coming under harsh criticism for not living up to these standards, not living up to the ideals of a lot of these critics. And maybe it's just colonizers just can't stop colonizing. They need their values to show up in places that their values do not belong. But either way, maybe some of this is conscious, maybe some of it's not, maybe some of it's hard programming. Just can't help it. It's involuntary. But either way, it really doesn't matter, because the more it continues to show up, the worse it's going to get for a lot of these guys. I mean, what does it say when you are constantly at war with your own audience, when they are rooting for your failure? How relevant can you be? How successful can you be when you continue to find yourself on the wrong side of these games, so culturally disconnected that you just don't see the same value as the audience?
Last thing I was going to say here is that basically he's right. A lot of these studios came out with they talked these studios come out with games and stuff. They don't listen to their audience. The audience is like, hey, this game would be good if they did this, and yada yada yada. But they don't. They don't listen to them. The game comes out, game's trash. People don't want to play it. Does horrible. They come out with another game, and the community, the core audience or former core audience, talks about, the game could be good if, you know, this and this and this, or like, we wish this would happen in the game, blah, blah, blah. Studio still ignores them. Game comes out, becomes trash. Third time they work on the game, community doesn't want to say anything because they're not going to listen to them. They're not going to listen to the consumers that will for sure buy the game if those changes were put into the game. And then that's when the community is like, this game is gonna do horrible. And then they change. They want this game to fail because they're like, you guys aren't learning your lessons. You're just making stuff. You're just making games and everything that caters to nobody. You're saying it's catering to the modern audience, but honestly, I think it's just little Jimmy, which is an invisible person. Like, that's literally what I think when they say the modern audience that they're catering to. That's just me personally. So it's their own doing.
You know, especially now when it's getting to the point where you have Eastern outlets that are calling you out, feeling like they are being targeted. Nobody's going to want to have anything to do with you. And while these guys can sit around, they can kick and scream all they want, they can post clickbait or whatever else, you're eventually just going to get to the point where everybody just tunes you out. And if these Eastern studios catch wind of this, they continue to notice this, they continue to find more success and keep pushing out games at an ever increasing rate, well, next thing you know, you're just going to lose your access. And without access,
you lose your
what
job.
are you?
Nothing.
Not a whole lot. At this point, Crimson Desert is just it's just a banger.
I mean, let's put the. Sorry, I had to pause again. Let's just again. This is pretty much what it is. Media is mad because they're losing their jobs to YouTubers and streamers. Literally, chat, anybody here, you right now, what you can do is you can literally go on any article, go live or hit record, read the article, give your thoughts about it, and basically you're doing what they're doing. Or you play a game, and you give your review on what you think the game is, give it a score, how you feel about the game, break it down, why you think things are the way they are with the game, and how you feel about it. That's all you got to do. Guess what? You are literally a journalist now.
Just a good game. There's just not really a whole lot else to say about it. And I think the players and the developers are the ones that really deserve all the credit in this situation because, one, the players were there and they stuck with it. They continued to support the game regardless of whatever the media had said or what anybody else said. They saw the value in this game. And then developers, they just tuned everybody out. All the chaos that they were going through, their stock prices, the reviews, whatever else, and they just focused on making the game better.
Yep.
And because of that, they just found more success.
And what happened with the shareholders and the stocks? The stocks went back up. They're like, oh shit, we pulled out too early. Holy crap. Oh man. I bet you they apologize. Like some of them apologize. Like, all right, hey, we're gonna buy some more stock. But yeah, stock went back up.
There's a lot to be proud of in that. These guys stayed committed to pushing that rock over the hill while the rest of the industry was more than happy enough to watch it roll off the other side. So I'm glad to see it succeed, especially in the face of all of this.
Exactly.
Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. I think it's interesting. It's interesting to see somebody finally speak out, especially from the other side. This is something that I thought that I have noticed. Now that I'm seeing that they're noticing it too, that's not good for some of these guys. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Make sure you guys, what am I doing way too quickly? Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
There you go. So let me go ahead and I'll put a little comment in here. I'll do a comment. Let's see here. Full screen. Let's see here. They hate what they can't control. Yeah, that's pretty much. Among gaming and movie culture, the norm is that this is starting to prove that the mainstream media is becoming obsolete because no one is reading their articles anymore, and the consumers are going to YouTubers and going to YouTubers and live streamers for reviews and information. Giving consumers the give to and information, leaving the consumers to make their own decisions, their own decisions and opinions, to make their own decision opinions if they want to buy a game or not. Also, what makes me laugh is that PUBG is that the media never talked bad about PUBG, and mind you, Crafton, formerly known as, what was it again? Blue what? Blue Hole. Yeah. Formerly known as Blue Hole Studios is a South Korean studio. Yeah. And mind you, Crafton, formerly known as Blue Hole Studios, is a South Korean studio. Let's see. The Western studios and in media are envious of the Eastern studios because the because the Eastern studios, yeah, because the Eastern studios are becoming what the Western studios used to be when they were coming up in the industry. Okay. I give it a like on that one. All right. Good video. Good video. All right. So now the next one we got is, this one is Enders, talking about Battlefield. So they talked about so basically what happened is they released they talked about tomorrow, or technically today, there's going to be a Battlefield Labs that is there's going to be a Battlefield Labs where people are going to be playing Goldwood Railway and things like that, and testing new content as well. This is before season 3. It's going to be very interesting. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And the map already, people already compared like map sizes of Goldman Railway, and it's scaled down. Now, I did talk about this before in the stream a while ago, that I'm like, I want to see the different I want to see the changes to Goldman Railway, because they said that it's not going to be the exact same as the one from Battlefield 4. So I was like, okay. Now the thing is it going to be the same size? Hopefully they didn't scale it down. Well, apparently they did. They scaled it down, but I don't know to what extent. So this is what we're going to find out.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're talking about some brand new leaks, mostly surrounding Goldwood Railway, and some controversy already, even before anyone gets to actually play the map itself. People are comparing the size of Battlefield 6's Goldwood Railway to the original, and it is theorized that they have shrunk Goldwood Railway slightly. This, of course, is causing outrage. People are going, oh my god, they're taking away my flanking space. Oh my god, they are turning Battlefield's biggest maps into Call of Duty maps. The game.
I will say this, like, it doesn't look that, from what I've seen, it doesn't look that bad. But I can see why people are upset, because look what they did to Operation Firestorm. Operation Firestorm is a lot smaller than the previous ones. So I can see their side, like, why they would be upset.
Game is dead. So there's a bunch of funny things to talk about regarding that. There's also some more weapon confirmations and some controversy surrounding unlocking the Battle Pass weapon, the CZ3A1.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, if you didn't already unlock it using that mini Battle Pass they put out, it is now unavailable, and you will presumably have to wait. So let's get right into things. This should be a pretty funny.
Yeah, you would have to wait, but there might be I think there's a workaround with it, if I recall, because there's people that didn't have the CZ. They didn't have the CZ at all. But what they did was they played Red Sec, they got the CZ and leveled the gun up to level 10 to unlock the Warfighter blueprint, and then they had access to the gun. So
Spicy video, because man, I have some strong opinions regarding some of this stupid bullshit. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, be sure to hit the sub button, and check out the second channel. I will post it in the description, as well as it will be the pinned comment. If you enjoy anything about fragrances, perfumes, colognes, that's the destination for that. And it's kind of just a different look into, I guess, me, if you're interested in that. Alright, so let's start things off hot with the Goldwood Railway controversy. Obviously, Goldwood Railway being added to the game is a controversy in and of itself, in my opinion. It's just never been that good of a map, even if it is large, and even if it is one of the maps that people played quite a bit in Battlefield 4. I still think
it's a heavily
there are
vehicle map.
many other maps that I would rather have over Goldwood Railway that essentially complete the exact same thing that Goldwood Railway does, with all the vehicles and the massive combined arms gameplay and the sandbox feel and whatever have you. So Goldwood Railway being added to the game is controversial just as a baseline. But then when you take a look at some of the leaks today, the size comparison is causing a ton of fuss. In this picture, you see the red Goldwood Railway is the original from Battlefield 4, and the green Goldwood Railway is the one that is being added into Battlefield 6.
Yeah.
As you can see, the Battlefield 6 version is allegedly smaller, having some of these outskirts areas taken away or just made out of bounds. And you know what? I don't really give a shit about that. I don't think this is going to affect gameplay on this map.
It's not going to affect it. And I will say this, because of the sniper rifle and the scopes that they have, which is the max scope that you have for a sniper rifle is a ×10. That's the largest that you can get. You will be able to still get You could still cross map. It's going to be hard to see, but you'll be able to still cross map snipe this. Now, if they had like a 20 times scope or even a 40 times, then the map would be pretty small. Would seem kind of small, just as a sniper standpoint. But to me, it seems fine. Vehicle wise, I did see a clip, not a clip. I saw a screenshot, 2 screenshots. Somebody flying a jet outside. So it's like right where this area is, right here, like basically where my mouse is. They had a jet that was way out here. Inbound is obviously the green, but they were like way out here in this area with the jet, and they were still inbounds. They were inbound. They were within the boundaries of the airspace. Put that way.
Whatsoever. I've seen people claim that this is going to ruin Galmud. You can't flank anymore. Oh, the vehicle gameplay is going to be terrible on it. We'll get into that later. But you know what? I think the people that are complaining about the outskirts areas of Galmud Railway being slightly encroached upon are exactly the type of player you think they are. I think these are the 40x scope bipod snipers. I think these are the people that legitimately contribute the least to the outcome of the game. I played my fair share.
I wanted to say this. People like to do long range sniping. I don't care. I'll call myself out with it. I love doing it. I like trying to snipe, trying to get a 2K headshot across the map or a 3K headshot. It's just very satisfying. There are people that love to do running guns, people running in and knifing people, running and shotgunning people. People have their different play styles. That is something I will always say. Everybody has their different play styles. If they're like, "Oh, you're not contributing to the game," by all means, like okay, let me put it this way: if you're a person that is constantly on a winning side, or that's like always wants to win every single freaking game, at some point you're gonna get bored. If you win every single game, you're gonna get bored because you're gonna be like, there's not enough skilled people on the other team. It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
Share of Galmud Railway in Battlefield 4, mostly in vehicles, but I also played some as infantry. And let me just guarantee you one thing. If you were ever on the outskirts of Battlefield 4's Galmud Railway, you weren't doing fucking anything. You're on a stroll, you're on a midnight fucking walk, you're on an expedition, you're on a safari taking pictures of animals you can't even pronounce. You are legitimately doing nothing if you were ever in any of these areas that are shown in red on this picture. Even the majority of vehicle gameplay never took place on the outskirts of Galmud Railway. If you were an effective vehicle player, you were constantly rotating on this map, flanking. You were actually applying.
Not if you're using the multi-launch missile system that was on, I believe it was on Flag Echo. That was southernmost area. If you had that, you would just take it back to your base and you would just launch freaking HIMARS everywhere, and just rain it down on the map. People did that, yes.
Pressure on flags going towards the center of the map. Trying to apply pressure from outside of the objective from one of the large fields outside of the point. So in terms of whether or not this is going to affect Galmud Railway gameplay, I think it will. I think it's actually going to make the map play a little better. I think there's going to be a little more action, and sometimes playing Galmud, there just was very, very little going on in certain areas of the map. Now, I have seen the argument, oh, Enders, them getting rid of this outskirts area is going to take away vehicle flanking opportunities. And I can see what some people are saying with that, but I still think there is plenty of room for you to maneuver with a vehicle on this map. And on top of that, we are not even certain of the available airspace for aircraft, which I'm sure will be absolutely massive, as it has always been.
It is huge.
So that's basically what's happening with the Galmud Railway sort of controversy.
The big issue is the laser target designator, if what they do with that, because the laser target designator and the Stinger and the tow missile tied to those, because if you could still lock on somebody from a far distance, then yeah, it's not going to matter. So
controversy right now, but let me just end this before I go to the next subject. Galmud Railway's playability depends on the developers making drastic vehicle improvements. if they do not improve the vehicle gameplay experience and balance, Gauntlet Railway won't be fun for anybody involved. It will essentially be a complete waste
It'll be only
of
good for a week.
content slot. But then again, I think a lot of people would argue that Gauntlet Railway is a waste of a map addition to the game, even if they fix the vehicle gameplay, because many people just don't like Gauntlet Railway. And you know what? That's fair. Moving on, there was a leak temporal posted suggesting the M16A3 is getting added to the game.
Please
but
be the
based
burst.
on recent leaks, the M16A3 isn't the version of the M16 being added to the game, allegedly. It is the M16A4, which is, of course, the burstfire variant.
I'm happy
if
with
it is
that.
the M16A4 instead of the A3, it would make the A4 the very first primary burstfire weapon ever added to Battlefield 6.
Good.
And while that is really cool, and I did love the M16A4 in Battlefield 4, if they don't get the feel of the burst timing correct, it's not going to be that fun of a weapon to use, unfortunately. I am kind of terrified that they're going to put some crazy burst delay on it, and it's just not going to feel the same. I know some other weapons in Battlefield 6 do have a burst fire mode available to them, but to be honest with you, I don't know if I've ever used it, so I think after I record this video, I'm going to jump in game and actually feel what it feels like. But that is basically it for today's video. In terms of what we have to look forward to, April 14th is, I think, the third part of Season 2, and that, I think, has an update. Guys, I mean, listen, there really isn't much coming with the third part of Season 2. We're basically waiting for Season 3 to be officially announced, so we need the date for it. If Season 3 isn't the season that starts to make massive felt gameplay improvements and changes, I don't know. I'm just going to start to get incredibly depressed and lose all hope, because when are they going to start, you know? Because that's literally the only thing wrong with Battlefield 6.
I mean, that's what people said with Season 2.
They need to fix the gameplay of the game, and we would have a pretty decent experience on our hands, and then we would just have to wait for new content and all that sort of stuff. But the sooner they improve gameplay, the sooner any content they add to the game is more consistently enjoyable for a longer period of time. So going to be very, very interested to see what this game does in the next 2 seasons, Season 3 and 4 specifically, because these are key moments in the life cycle of this game moving forward. So if you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you think about all this stuff I mentioned in the video. Hit the sub button and also sub to the second channel. I think we're just shy of 3,000 subs on that channel. I've been having a ton of fun recording videos for the second channel. The content cadence on that second channel is always going to be slightly slower or less frequent than the content cadence on this channel because, well, this is the main channel and the perfume channel is kind of just my hobby / little fun side thing I like to do. But I've been having so much fun responding to every single comment on that channel, having conversations, and just seeing some of you guys that I had no idea I was into, like, fragrances come over and be like, you know what, I didn't expect this, but I don't mind it, and I'm actually starting to enjoy it. And that's fucking awesome to see. So check out the second channel, link is in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video.
All right, there you go. So there's that one. Woo! Put this in the chat. There you go. All right. Man, oh man, oh man. It's crazy. All right. Let's get into some Battlefield. Let's see. We're at level 43. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Mm, 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 mm. All right. All right, here we go. So we got one on the mini scout, 43. Oh. Oh, I did finish everything. Oh, nice. Cool. Oh, my knee. Oh, there we go.
Get moving!
Oh, he's up there. I forgot. Do do do. Ah, no. The hell? Do, 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 do. Missed. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Put down the fucking thing. Shit. Why is the terrain... there's no terrain block. It's completely open ground. GG, yep. U.S. Special Operations Command veteran has been arrested and federally charged with leaking classified national defense information. Jeez. It just popped up on my Twitter feed. That is insane. And what do I think about that? Jailed. Oh, I got the kill. Nice. Damn it. Okay, no sweet spot there. This gun doesn't have it.
Shit! Stand by!
Lifesaver!
What's up, man? What the hell?
Here's some ammo! Get cover! Here's their ammo!
Charge lane!
Watch out! Enemies nearby!
Our attack on Bravo is underway.
Oh, damn it.
Come in! Come on!
Oh, the FBI has arrested for violating the Espionage Act. DOJ says she transmitted classified national defense intel to the media and put our warfighters at risk. Damn. DDR5 RAM at Micro Center, $4,200 for 64 megahertz, 128 gigs of RAM. That is insane. $2,700 for for a 2 terabyte SSD. Oh my god. That's crazy. It's not about that. I saw the mini scout. Yeah. Tough to find breakthrough matches at this time. I had to hang it up for the night. Too many bots during wartime though. Maybe firing squad. Pfft, I know, right? Yeah. That's crazy. And the thing is, they do screening and all that stuff to get your clearance. Because I know that person has top secret clearance. Actually, probably has classified clearance. Probably higher than that. Especially working in Spec Ops Command. That's insane. Insane. I know people would say that's like during wartime, like an offense like that, somebody being shot, they would say, "Oh, that's too harsh." Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if somebody dies because of that person leaking information, I think it's, I think that, you know, I'm not gonna say is it a trade-off, but I mean that is a big deal. You know what the funny thing is about like getting a secret clearance? The questionnaire is funny. It's like, can you keep a secret? And it's like, yeah. It's like if I told you about that information, like, would you tell anybody? No. You sure? Even if somebody really wanted to know? Pretty much what it is. They're like, are you sure? You positive?
Explosive set.
Because they're like, even if I give, like, that's what the questionnaire is. It's like, even if I give you $1 million, you're not gonna. You sure? Oh, body just flailing around.
We are targeting Alpha.
Charge lane!
Take this ammo!
Objective marked. We need you supporting the attack.
Ah, barred in the way. hold on. How did he survive through the claymore? What the fuck? It blew, what? It blew up right in front of him. I saw that. I saw it explode right in front of him. How did he survive that?
Bravo has been neutralized.
Explosive set!
We have secured Bravo. Attack support needed on the marked objective.
What is going on, my?
Stop it!
That's 71.
Enemy attack launched on Bravo. Push on and take victory.
Boom! Right in the head! Keep going, that's it!
Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. close here.
Confirming visual on multiple inbound attacks.
All right.
Charge set! Stand by!
The enemy is attacking objective Alpha. We need to defend the mark objective.
Security objective!
No audio.
Objective Alpha has been lost.
The enemy have secured objective Alpha.
An attack on Alpha is in progress. Marked objective is under threat. Defend the position.
We have lost objective Bravo.
Oh my god.
Objective Bravo has now been secured. Objective Bravo is under attack. We have lost Objective Bravo. We have lost Objective. Move to defensive positions.
Heal back! Charge raid!
Hostile forces incoming. Keep them pinned and exhaust their reserves.
Fucking hit! Let's go! Man down! Man down! Need a medic! Stay low!
The drone's in the rock.
Hostiles are attacking Alpha. We need defensive support on the marked objective. Enemy forces have captured our position. Get ready to defend the sector. Hostiles have breached the sector. Defend our objectives.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and watch. No audio. Almost done. You got this, dude. I'm so checked out from tonight.
We no longer control Alpha.
It's just the audio is so the audio is so off. Like every person I got killed by is because they would sprint by me, but you don't hear them at all. And it's very irritating.
All units, final sector is under attack. If our defense is small, we lose the battle.
Cheers!
Hostiles are attacking objective Bravo. We need to defend the marked objective. Enemy attack is underway on Bravo. We have lost control of Bravo. Objective Bravo has been captured by hostiles.
I don't know how I got 75 from that.
Hostile attack the front Alpha. Mission is under threat. Refocus.
We're getting thrown out here!
Defensive support on the objective.
That's game.
Objective Alpha is under enemy control.
Oh. We're back. I'm gonna use the restroom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Move forward! Be advised, enemy forces are advancing on our position. Defend the sector and deplete their numbers.
My ping is jumping.
Be advised, we have control of Bravo.
Yeah, my ping is jumping like crazy. He's up top. He's up top, guys. He's up top. Thank you.
We have initiated our attack on Alpha. Be advised, objective Bravo is under attack.
We have lost control of Bravo. Attention, we're engaging objective Alpha. We have weakened the enemy forces. Keep fighting.
We now control Bravo. Our troops have neutralized Alpha. Alpha has been captured by hostiles.
Our attack on Alpha is in progress. Charge set! Stand by!
Hey, Sage Leaf. Thanks so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, thank you so much for the... Thank you both for the raid. Holy crap. What were y'all playing? You playing... Oh, playing Raft. Okay. How's it going? How's it going? Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for trusting me with your community. Hello, everybody. My name is Alfacino. I'm a Battlefield content creator. Also, I play a variety of games. Currently, we're still working on trying to level up the sniper rifles, get them to mastery 50, so we can break away from being miserable. If you guys have to raid and leave, I totally fine. I get it. Totally understandable. But yeah. What the hell was that? Woo. How was the stream? Oh goodness gracious, this connection's not doing so hot. Connection's definitely not doing so hot. Appreciate the lurk. I do sadly have to lurk because I have a little day to get to, but you have a great stream. Much luck to you and your sniper journey. Oh, appreciate it. Thanks, Cat. And good. I was gonna say good luck on your day, but like, have fun on your day. Right, that goes out there. Okay. I'm also gonna lurk. Indeed, bedtime for me, but I hope you have the rest of the stream is good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sage. Thanks so much for the raid from both of you. I wish I could do both. I can do like do both raids, but or shout outs, but you got me on a cooldown. But once I'm able to, I'll shout you out. I couldn't even put down the damn dummy. Why? Because there's one right there. It don't allow me. Oh, come on. Man, I cannot handle this this skip.
Attack the marked objective. Enemy cannot sustain any more losses. Fight them out.
Charge lane!
God dang it. We're gonna pick up the Claymore again. They sunk right into the ground. I swear, like I love I like using the decoys. I do, but they need to fix it though.
We're tracking the objective Alpha.
It's right there. They're just not hitting them.
Objective Alpha neutralized. Our attack on Bravo is underway. We've neutralized objective Bravo.
Oh my god. I didn't know I fucking killed the guy.
Okay, I got you.
Objective Alpha's neutralized. Alright, we now hold Alpha.
No audio again. Dude is sprinting. No audio.
We are targeting objective Bravo.
There's a guy that went around. I know for damn sure he did. Yep, he's over there still.
City boy! City boy!
Oh, Yen Ming, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome in. I don't know who the hell ran by him. That dude was That dude was tagged. Hello? God damn it. Is it not working? Dude, my drone's not working. What the fuck? Why isn't the UAV marking anything? They're not marking anything. Why is that? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Do, 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 do. hell?
Our troops have lost objective Alpha. Alpha's under enemy control.
Oh. Can you fucking move, guys? Jeez. God.
Rocket launcher.
Hey, T-Doff, what's going on? Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Morning.
Here! Don't get down! Go! Thank you. Watch his head!
Worth buying Battlefield 6? For the, to be honest, the price right now is $70. I wouldn't say so. Until they do some fixing with the audio, yeah, I think that's like the pretty much the big issue. Just like I'm to be 100% honest. And then also there's a desync networking desync issue going on right now too. So that's very COD so stale at this moment. Honestly, FPS games just in general are like they're all pretty much stale. Nobody's back here watching this fucking guy. You just oh my god, he just ran by him. Yeah, idiot. Oh my god.
We have lost control of Bravo. Mobilize new lines of defense.
See, and then there's this stupid there's that issue too, like can't place claymores in certain areas because there's like, oh nope, it's blocked, there's too many obstructions, but there's nothing, it's just flat ground. I have many issues with the game that I've addressed, many people have addressed, and we're still waiting on hearing back from it. So again, money wise, $70, I wouldn't recommend it. And I know I'm Battlefield Creator Program, but I mean, money's way more important. So, yeah, you're not wrong. 2042 was so fun for me. I had fun playing 2042 on PC, and then they did some update where it maxed out my GPU, and it pissed me off. So I had to switch over to Xbox, and there was so much delay. There's so much delay from like input that I literally just did the what do you call it, the road to Battlefield 6, and then after that I quit. Like I uninstalled the game. Yeah, my PC sounded like a jet when I played it, so I had to get rid of it. Yeah. One thing I will say, I'm happy that this game, yeah, I will say that I'm happy that with Battlefield 6, if you're playing it off of Steam, you don't have to open up you don't have to open up the EA app or anything like that, which is good. That I will give them.
Explosive set!
But servers and stuff, no. I need them to do better on servers. Like honestly, we should have persistent servers, but we don't. People have been wanting that for a while. People wanted server browsers. Portal is not really playable, or it's hard to make like Portal stuff because all of it is just riddled with bot farms, XP bot farms, and they're just unattended. So, thanks for the level 1 hype train, everybody. So, yeah, that's the downside to that. Oh, weapon progression ain't that great either. I'm gonna be 100% honest with that. What else? Sniping is not really fun. I'm doing this just to get the masteries. With Battlefield 2042, you like to get tier 1, which is like the mastery skin, I guess you would say. You have to get 1,200 kills, right? With this, it's very unpredictable. You don't know if you're going to get the 12. Like, you don't know if you're going to get over 1,200. You don't know if you're going to get under 1,200. It all depends. One slight move, which is another thing. One slight move and you can miss your shot. The sniping in this game is very unforgiving. If you don't get a headshot, like I just did there, rechambering takes... rechambering is worse than reloading. Let's put it that way. Missed by a pixel. Slightly moved.
Hostiles are attacking objective Bravo.
Oh, and then also, because there's no persistent lobbies of like playing with other players, it will throw you into another game. A completely different game and everything. And then what happens is, you cannot, if it doesn't fill up, then it'll fill up with bots. Now, the downside to that, yeah. The huge downside to it is sometimes it's not balanced. Sometimes you'll have the team that has a whole bunch of bots, and then the other team will have a whole bunch of bots. Either way, it's not great, because if you're trying to level up your guns and everything like that, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, sniping is a weird one in this. Very weird. And the only reason why I'm sniping on this map, even though it's an all indoor map, is because the recent update that they did with Battlefield, they allowed mortars to be fired from HQs, so you can fire a mortar from a safe zone, from the comfort of your own base. And
Need fucking ammo.
it's a big problem. It's a huge problem. What else? What else is going on? What else with this game? Helicopters and jets don't have air radar. That's another thing. So if you're in a dogfight, you have to constantly look around to see if there's a jet near you. If not, then pretty much GG's. Laser target designator for the recon is pretty strong. You can lock on, as long as you lock onto a jet or a helicopter before it goes around, goes behind a hill, it will lock on. Tow missiles are pretty strong, and then also javelins or guided munitions are pretty strong. So yeah. Oh, jets are a glass cannon too. That's another thing. So, like you guys just saw there, instead of like put me in a game with the same people, it put me in a game by myself. So then I have to leave and then jump back in And I don't know if they made an update to it, but sometimes when you do that, like when you leave, it counts as a loss on your record. I can tell you probably like half of my losses is from me leaving the game, like just backing out of the game. And I only play this map because, again, mortars. All right, this is the last attempt. Last attempt. All right. I'm just going to call it there. All right, guys. I'm going to call it there. Twitch, we're going to go raid out to California Girl, who's playing Arc Raiders right now. So, let's see here. We'll go raid her. Everybody else, YouTube, Twitch, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, for the likes. Thanks for tuning in again. Spending your guys' time here. You guys could have done anything else. Could have read a book, could have done anything. But you guys chose to stay here for the stream and everything, and I appreciate it. I deeply do. Thank you guys so much for everything. I will be on tomorrow. Let's see, Thursday. So I'll be on tomorrow, but we'll be doing a little bit of a sponsor stream. We'll play a different game, and then after that, we may jump over to Battlefield to do more leveling. But anyway, that's it for me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Later, guys.